So I'm talking to my friend Michael Hane, and today's topic is your freight secure? The three key vulnerabilities in freight operations. So first, we talked a little bit about kind of the pillars that make up Descartes, the juggernaut. And it's last mile. We didn't get into that too much today. It's a whole topic all by itself, but super important. If you're doing last mile, you guys can help. We talked about the transportation management systems, and it's not just one. You guys, 3G, Aljex, Descartes, TM. It's not one size fits all there. We also, another piece of that is always going to be the MacroPoint or the doc scheduling, super important parts of those tools. Separate solution for the e-commerce, and it needs a separate solution. It's a very different business, and that's kind of a WMS light. We also talked about global trade intelligence. So we are right now in a need of global trade intelligence because we're not allowed to trade with a lot of companies, but on top of that, we're not allowed to ship to a lot of locations. And I'll tell you the reputational damage that can come from, and not only the government punishment, no government wants you doing business with certain regions or with certain companies. And I'm telling you, you'll never live it down if you're the company that shipped product to a terrorist organization. It's just, nobody needs that. And that's where the global trade intelligence, but it's not just that. What should I buy? Where should I buy it? And I need to be able to see around the next corner, and that is not easy right now. Last but not least, we talked about the software you guys have for the brokers and freight forwarders. So your customers are shippers, big shippers, enterprise shippers, but also the medium-sized shippers, especially ones who are multi-mode, also with brokers. And anybody who's got a lot of complexity, you guys can accommodate that. So we talked, I should also say some of the core areas here. Real-time shipment visibility, MacroPoint kind of being the OG of visibility, but also they didn't rest on their laurels. They have come a long way since downloaded on your phone. Now they can do anything. Carry connectivity and collaboration, global trade. Transportation rating, payment, and regulatory process. We didn't talk about that. Super important. We also talked about these vulnerabilities today. So the first vulnerability was your freight tech stack. It could have issues, and we won't get into all the details, but basically, fragmented aging systems and update that get missed. We tend to have, unless you go with somebody who's got a kind of an end-to-end solution like Descartes, a whole bunch of interconnected systems with sometimes one update blows that integration. Sometimes there's a lot of acquisitions in the space, and you find out that, oh, that doesn't work the same way since they got bought. You have potential risk and vulnerability in your tech stack, and that isn't going away. Next, we talk about carrier security. I think we could say carrier security, driver security, freight security. All of it is an issue. Identity theft, double brokering, fraud, impersonation, phishing. There's it's kind of never ending. I want to make sure we talk about one thing before we wrap this bad boy up. Last but not least, we talked about operational and network security. That's beyond API. This is the big boy stuff. This is where you belong. To make sure that you have the data and the connectivity and the automation you need. And then if, God forbid, you do have a problem, you got recovery on your side. One other thing, Michael, we talked before we hit record, you have a case study. Vesta Freight strengthens customer service and freight security with Descartes 3G TMS. I'm going to make sure we put a link to that webinar, or is it a case study?
It's a case study. So there's a video. So I'm actually on the other side of the camera asking the questions. But we talked to the founder, the CEO, talked to people in the accounting group, talked to operations. So I really tried to build like a 360 view of the different things. So there's shorter clips in there, but yeah, it is just a case study. But they're great. Started in the started in the pandemic, so they had to be lean and know what they're doing right out of the gate, and they've grown a lot, and they've embraced the Descartes platform. And
Yeah, it should mention they're using your 3G TMS, MacroPoint, and MyCarrierPortal. So these again is a suite of tools. I joke about it when you look at the big shippers. They say we want flow, and what our community answered with was, "How about a whole bunch of silos? Would that be good?" And until companies like Descartes still started building end-to-end solutions, there was a lot of yeah, we have 5 systems to facilitate the flow, and it kind of defeats the whole idea of streamlining. Anyway, put a big old bow on this one. Final thoughts on the topic, Michael Hane.
yeah, no, thanks for that. Well, Joe, it was great talking to you today. I appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, I just like to leave people today with, at Descartes, we've been in business a long time. We're constantly innovating and investing in the technology. We've got people here that know transportation, know the shipper space, the brokerage space, 3PL space. Um, and we've developed everything on top of this network, right? The global logistics network, like I said, has been around since the 80s, right? Some of this old school tech, but we've been layering that connectivity and all the new capabilities on top of that. So if folks are looking for, TMS, if they're looking for visibility, carrier vetting, monitoring, dock appointment scheduling, all that stuff, I mean, come and talk to us. If we're a fit, that's great. If we're not, we'll let you know. But we're very pragmatic here. We're in the business to build long-term partnerships with folks. And like I said, we just had our financials announced. So we're $729 million company, publicly traded, and we work with folks globally. So when you come in with us, like I said, you might just need one little thing of visibility, but then, hey, I want to understand free trade zones, or maybe I need to get into e-com fulfillment now, or what am I doing for people are asking me about parcel shipping now, that hadn't happened before. So if you're shipping it globally, we can help you.
Yep. Yep. And I think we should note that you guys are traded both in Toronto and New York, and publicly traded companies have a higher bar for disclosure and for doing the right things because they're publicly traded. So, and the reason I say that is because I believe right now we have so many technologies, and some of them worry me because bombastic claims that again the move fast and break things. That's not, that might be fine for a small company, but there tends to be
Yeah. Well, we have to be
no
careful
boundary.
yeah, we have to be careful with forward-looking statements. That's for sure, being publicly traded. So yeah, we got to be careful of overpromising.